Hey guys, welcome back to RHR Jen. I'm so glad you're here. Guys, let's do this thing. I'm so excited. Let's keep going with Betrayal by Tom Bauer. Today I'm picking up with chapters 10, 11, and 12. So chapter 10 is Netflix, chapter 11 is My Truth, and chapter 12 is The Me You Can't See. And before we get into this, I have a legal question. If any of you know, can I sue Harry and Meghan for the WTAF wrinkles I'm getting in my forehead? What the actual wrinkles that I'm getting in my forehead from reading the nonsense that they have put out there. It's unbelievable. But this book is fantastic. I'm excited to dive back into it with you. And a huge thank you to you all. Truly, from the bottom of my goosey heart, I just want to thank you all. I've been reading all of your kind comments. I'm blown away. So many of you say you love my book reviews. I'm loving doing this. I really am. Yes, it's a lot of work. Don't care. It's just fun. I'm having fun with it, and I hope you are too. Tom Bauer is such a great writer. If you're getting this book, I mean, you're gonna love it. It's impossible for me to cover every bit of this book. So there's gonna be stuff that you're going to find that you love about the book. So I still highly recommend it. And I mean, it's so good. Okay, so enough about that. Let's dive in and talk, shall we? So this time I included 3 chapters, and we're going to talk about the highlights and some of the new stuff that we learned. I've got lots of notes in here, as I've mentioned in every episode. Thank you for bearing with me as I look down at them. I try to usually look at the camera. There's so much to these. I have to look down. That's how I keep myself straight. So that's what's going on there. But seriously, though, I'm caffeinated, I'm feisty, I'm ready to do this. Those 2 are the worst, the absolute worst. My hat's off to Tom Bauer. I mean, again, this is just 3 pages, 3 chapters, and these are my pages of notes. And I'm just like, what? As I read this, I can't imagine how much he has that he had to sift through and sort through and all the sources he talked to. Man, I would volunteer for free to be his research assistant on this stuff because I find it so completely interesting. I'm obsessed with psychology. The psychology between these 2, I was going to say the psychological study of these 2. It's so interesting. I've never seen anything like it. I said in the last video, and I think it stands, and a lot of you guys said you like the analogy. He is a dumpster fire, talking about Harry, and she is the gasoline poured on it. And together they're just awful. I can't decide who is worse. A lot of times I think it's her, but then I read the stuff he's done. I'm like, I don't know. They're in a contest. You can let me know in the comments who you think is worse and why, but oh, they're both so bad, aren't they? Anyway, okay, so let's dive into this, starting with chapter 10. I just thought in this one, because I am covering 3 chapters, that I could talk about some highlights, some lowlights, and of course, as always, I have lots of underlined parts that I really want to get your attention on, some quotes from the book, things like that. So let's talk about chapter 10. It's called Netflix. I call it the big deal that backfired, right? So this is more the setting of the stage of Netflix. And then it's actually chapter 12, I believe, parts of chapter 11 and 12, where they start talking about the filming of it. We haven't actually got to the release of it yet, but just so you know, that's what they're talking about. Chapter 10, Netflix. So the core of this chapter, Bauer's deep diving into this Netflix deal, and he's talking about the setup, how Meghan chose the producers. He was very clear to make sure that we knew there were 4 producers on this. One ended up getting let go. I believe she was replaced. It was 4 women producers specifically chosen by Meghan. And the reason that that's funny is just the description of Harry, and he's just sitting on the sidelines, you know, of his own life. He's a passenger in his own life, you know, letting Meghan, you know, handle it all. But again, the point that I think he really wanted to underline off the bat is, of course, Harry worked with Netflix. Now, reminder that Netflix is the one that put out The Crown, which many would think, why would he want to work with them after they weren't the nicest about his family and took a lot of liberties there and stuff. And I know some of you guys love The Crown. I watched just a little bit of it. I couldn't super get into it personally, but I know some people love it. That's cool. It's just, you know, I mean, I think it's more fictionalized, right? Is the way I'm understanding. I don't know. It doesn't matter. But people were surprised that he would get in bed with Netflix after they did take on The Crown. So the key to this is that they were, quote, okay, I'm on page 87 if you're trying to read along with me. This is where Ted Sarandos, we know all about him. Ted Sarandos came on and he had just taken over, it sounds like, for Brandon, it doesn't matter. Netflix's head of content. Okay. And he's, of course, they point out that he's the Montecito neighbor. We know all about that. But he judged the Sussexes' offer to tell all to be a hit. He thought it would be a huge hit. So what he did to secure the deal was he agreed that they would be contracted to make 5 series over 5 years. And I'm laughing because we have the benefit of seeing the future, right? And see that that did not work out so well. So, of course, Harry and Meghan, he'll go into that. But, I think that did okay. But that's the only one. Polo, that Invictus thing, and then, of course, with Love Meghan. Oh, gosh. And then he goes into Pearl. Meghan's, what was going to be Meghan's animated series. I learned some new stuff there that I'm excited to share with you. We'll get there. I'll feed you baby birds. Don't worry. Woo, it's juicy. Anyway, continuing on. So the big thing here is, it's a lot of hypocrisy. The 2022 docuseries, Harry and Meghan. So this takes place in 2020. This time frame when they were setting the stage and starting to hire people and get ready for the documentary. I'm calling it a documentary. It's not, but the docuseries, Harry and Meghan. They were planning it in 2022. 2020. They were laying the groundwork. Eventually, it would release in 2022. But it was sold as their intimate truth. And I use the quotes like Joey from Friends. He doesn't know how the quotes work. Meghan and Harry don't know how the truth works. It's a match made in heaven. But we'll talk about it, what happened there. But Meghan, and then there was talk of Meghan's, of course, planned lifestyle show. So, okay. I just want to talk some hypocrisy, overall hypocrisy, because if you know me at all, and you do, you know that I'm completely obsessed with, I'm obsessed with the hypocrisy out of these two. And the psychology, again, fascinates me. So they spent all this time screaming, crying, freaking out over media intrusion and privacy. We want privacy and privacy violations and privacy. I was doing the South Park. But then, of course, voluntarily filmed themselves for the 6-part Netflix series. I want my life back. I would like to know my legal rights to sue for the wrinkles that gave me. Seriously, it was so bad. But they moaned and whined about privacy and then went on to do this tell-all, privacy for thee, but not for the royals, because of course they milked that for all it was worth. They claimed that they had no platform and were silence victims. What would you say you had with all these interviews and all this stuff you're doing? Okay, again, nothing ever makes any sense. There's always discrepancy. There's always hypocrisy. But let's talk about the setup itself from this chapter. So, oh God, it was an apt description of Meghan right off the bat in this chapter when Tom Bauer calls her, quote, compassion, victimhood, racism, feminism, motherhood, and truth. That's what he says, the brand Meghan that was being forged. That was going to be her moneymaker, is these things right here. And again, I'm laughing, saying we have the benefit of flashing forward 6 years into the future and saying nothing's changed. Still, nothing's changed, except for they're absolutely despised, more so than they were back then. So that's, I guess, changed, but it's kind of funny. Oh, and the other thing that's changed is that, they went their separate ways from Netflix. They're no longer partners. Weird, right? Weird. Okay. Continuing on, let's see here. Oh, this was interesting. On page 89, Tom Bauer points out that it seems to be since she wrote an article for Elle magazine in 2015, that's when Meghan realized that she was a victim of the race stuff that she didn't realize she was a victim of before because, differing stories. So here, once she wrote about it, she realized even though she couldn't provide specific evidence of suffering or anything like that, she just decided that at that point, she was suffering a disadvantage in her life. Okay. Then she described returning from Britain. That's when she realized that America's race conflict was devastating. Okay. Again, I mean, that's the beauty of Tom Bauer. He leads you to it. You can make your own decision. You can make your own decision. And I got so many comments on the last video saying, you love my facial expressions. Thank you for that. But I'm sorry. My face is my mood ring. I can't hide how I'm feeling and how I'm thinking of this. When I read this stuff, I'm like, are you freaking serious? Like that? Okay. Yep. That's what taught her that could get her more attention. So she leaned into that. All right, continuing on. Here we go. Page 90. Again, every chapter I pick out one of my favorite quotes from it. From this chapter, it was, quote, Meghan could not admit to any flaws or mistaken judgments. Again, that seems to be an ongoing theme. Must be nice to go through life like that, not making any mistakes or having any flaws. If you want a list of mine, I can give them to you alphabetical. It's funny. It's the same thing I say with, does she have a magic mirror, like where she thinks she looks different than she looks when she dresses a certain in most of her clothes? She have a magic personality mirror where she sees something different than the rest of us? Maybe so. All right. Continuing on. They show us to focus on Meghan's victimhood. I mean, that's the theme of these 3 chapters. That's the theme of their lives. But these 3 chapters in particular, victim, 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 we are victims. That's all we got. Okay. She thought that would make the audience be able to relate to their experience more. Okay, sure. Few realized that Meghan, this was good too. All right. Did you know? I didn't know. Tom Bauer points out that allegedly Meghan's hairstylists and makeup artists need over 2 hours each day. I'm not talking about for filming Netflix. Fine. You're filming a show, sure. I can't understand that, but whatever. I'm filming a show. It takes about 15 minutes. All right. And that's with putting the little caffeine patches under my eyes to wake up as I ingest caffeine, right? I might as well just suck on those eye patches and just have a jolt. But no, seriously, 2 hours each day. That's not even for filming. He's just saying it takes her more than 2 hours each day before she could appear in public. What does she look like without that? Is that why she has a face transplant all the time? Like it just always looks, yeah, okay. And then another big theme is it seems to be that procrastination and indecision plague the perpetual victims. That's something that he went into when they were living at, Not Caught, and then it plagues this project as well. So it sounds like the producers got frustrated with both of them for exactly that, indecision. And I mean, again, I don't know. He doesn't use the word flip-flopping, but I notice a lot of flip-flopping. Flip-flopping in stories. Flip-flopping is what we know of them now. They flip-flop, again, the stories, whatever they're trying to sell. They flip-flop the names of their businesses. They flip-flop the name of Archwell. They flip-flop everything. Their stances on things. So, yeah, I think that's an apt description of the two of them. Let's go into chapter 11 called My Truth. That makes me laugh, and it makes me think of Amber Heard, right? My truth. There is no my truth. It's the truth. But it's their version versus reality. So the core of this chapter is he's dissecting their my truth and living my truth and, sharing that across Oprah and Netflix and Spare and interviews and how often my truth changes. He shows how they selectively edit, and I'd like to underline, exaggerate or straight up just rewrite events to fit their victim narrative. Again, this is what we know of them. More hypocrisy out of this part that I thought was interesting. They demand that the world accept their truth without any question and call anyone who disagrees with them theistwards or the bullwords, while they themselves monetize these one-sided stories that the royal family, they know, won't publicly answer. So again, that's not the truth. That's narrative control so they can make money off of it. That's not the truth. That's their truth. So further hypocrisy out of the duo. Another discrepancy I notice is their truth just continues to shift. Whatever is convenient, whatever makes sense. I've been over it at length, but one of the glaring things, because they do go into the Oprah of it all about this time frame, and they even contradict each other in that. Like, I don't even want to go back over it because we've been over it, but I'm telling you, that whole the color of the baby's skin and stuff, and okay, my head's going to explode, but what will the baby look like? The normal conversation that we all have when we're having our babies, or friends having a baby, or anybody, even when people get married. I mean, that's a thing. Everybody says, oh, what will your kids look like? Not even when you're married, when you start dating someone. I think I played that game with what would mine and Greg Davis's kids look like. Very tall, No, it's just something you do. It's a thought exercise. It's thought provoking. It's something we all do. Oh, what would your babies look like? No, only Meghan and Harry would turn it into something evil, like they've tried to make it into. But my point of this is remind you all that even during the Oprah interview, they couldn't agree on the story. Harry told one version of events where it happened very early on in the relationship, and it was more of a cutesy thing where they were asking about his new girlfriend, and, oh, I wonder what your kids will look like. And then turned into this dark, sinister thing that would keep, according to them, keep the kids from getting titles and security, just all the nonsense that we know out of them. But the further hypocrisy out of them is, they're accusing the palace and the media of spreading lies. Yet, again, Bauer does a great job of showing multiple examples where their own truth contradicts either themselves or each other, or documented events and timelines, staff accounts. And again, it even contradicts their own earlier statements. So, their truth. My truth became their get out of jail free card for every controversy. It's a shield they use. It's the same thing with the Istwards, right? It's a shield that they use and lets them attack their families while playing victim. And I'd like to know what my legal rights are to sue for the WTF wrinkles I'm getting as a result of all this. Let's see. Let's go through and see. Here we go. So, like in this chapter, one of the lines that I underlined, one of my favorite lines from this chapter is, quote, this is a quote from Meghan herself. Meghan said, quote, "You cannot take somebody's privacy and exploit it." She was saying that in terms of you remember that whole People, My 5 Friends article? That was her quote. You cannot take somebody's privacy and exploit it. And I say, what would you say you and your dumb husband have been doing? Because again, the royal family's not speaking out against you guys. You're speaking out against them and saying these things, my truth, that, luckily most people see through. But my point is, revealing things about private details about people, whether you believe them or not, wouldn't that be taking somebody's privacy and exploiting it? I sure think so. My truth. Ugh. Awful. Oh, okay. Let's get into the good stuff. Ready? This is juicy. I didn't know this. Here we go. So I knew that her show, Pearl, her proposed show for Netflix, was, how do you say that? Rejected? They said, we don't want it, pass, whatever. I thought it was just because it was just a bad idea, or, just A Harry and Meghanism. What did Bill Simmons call them? Lazy blinking grifters. But he said something about you should hear the ideas out of Harry. I just figured it was one of their crazy ideas. No, it's juicier than that. You ready? You know how I've done videos about, and we've all talked about Meghan's ideas are not Meghan's ideas. They're often borrowed, taken, stolen, whatever adjective you want to fill in there from other people. Like, hey, that quote she's trying to pass off as hers sounds super familiar. Oh, wait, didn't Eleanor Roosevelt say that? Things like that. Okay, we've heard lots of instances of even this bookmark, this stupid bookmark. Where's my bookmark? I don't even know where I put it right now. I had that big bookmark that I set somewhere that I made. Anyway, it turns out somebody else had the same saying on their same bookmark. It's just nothing seems to be an original thought or idea out of the two of them. Well, excuse me, the show Pearl, that show that she wanted to put out with Netflix, get this. So according to Tom Bauer, I'm on page 96. It focused on a young girl who learns to step into her power whenever she embarks on an adventure. And the idea was she was supposed to meet important women from history. Okay, fine. Well, guess what? The reason it didn't go, it sounds like, is because news of this project prompted lawyers representing this author named Mel Elliott. Okay, Mel Elliott had written a book. Guess what it was called? Can't even change the name of it. Pearl Power. And it was, quote, strikingly similar. And it was a series of best-selling books between 2014 and 2016. And it says there were so many similarities that the lawyers, before it even went, once they got wind of it, they got involved and said, no, there's too many. It's too striking. It's more than a coincidence. So they wrote a lot of times, it sounds like. They never got a reply. Again, according to Bauer, they never got a reply from Meghan's people, but eventually the series was canceled. And the excuse issued by Netflix was that Meghan's pitch failed to tell a visual story. Sounds like it wasn't her story to tell. Oh my gosh. You lazy grifters. You can't even change the name of the character. Holy cow. We've been over. I talked about how allegedly The Bench, her book, was very similar to another book, that The Boy on the Bench. Like, that name was about the same too. And it's like, oh my God, you can't even change the name. Like, it's just, you can't even pretend like it's not a ripped off idea. Incredible. Oh God, the ego on those two. Okay. Continuing on. Let's see here. This one I had highlighted. I'm trying to remember why. Hold on. Okay. Oh, here you go. So Meghan was claiming around this time that the media was trying to find a way to destroy her. So their response, Harry and Meghan's response, so the media didn't try to destroy her, was, quote, to attack the royal family. How does that make sense? I don't know. Because Harry was convinced, again, big picture. She wanted to control I think they both wanted to control any negative press against them. Harry hates the press. Meghan can stir him up against the press. And they use the press, but if it doesn't perfectly suit them, then the press is evil. You can't make this stuff up. It's absolutely bonkers. The whole thesis of this book is that a quote on page 98 from Tom Bauer says, there, as in the royal family's discomfort, would give her great pleasure. Nice, huh? All right. So let's continue on. We get into the Oprah of it all, and there's really not a ton of new information there. My takeaway from this was more that Tom Bauer was focusing on the rehearsal of lines, the lack of Oprah questioning anything, including the discrepancies that were said throughout this interview. My favorite part of this was Tom Bower calls Meghan's performance, quote, let's see here, the appropriate amount of her hands, head, and even eyes. He's talking about the performance she gave during the Oprah interview. As she chose to speak in the dramatic whisper of a damaged angel, presenting herself as a helpless innocent. I thought that was so perfect. That's exactly it. It was a lot of just, I'm like strong, but I'm also weak. I'm a victim. I'm an angel. Yeah. Well, like the same makeup as Diana, the same dress as Wallace. I mean, it's just like, my God. And then Tom Bower's pointing out her weird ability to cry on cue. Interesting. All right. He calls her a martyr, but she was trying to make herself a symbol for revolution and social justice, right? That's what we need. All right, continuing on. Harry was backing her up because he felt like being silenced wasn't working. When was he ever silenced? That guy won't shut up. Let's see here. Continuing on. Oh, here we go. The other interesting thing to come out of this part. Again, he's talking about the things she said on the Oprah interview. And you know that we got married 3 days before. Tom Bower says, no, she knows they didn't. Apparently what happened was at her request, he came and gave a short blessing 3 days before the ceremony, but it was absolutely not a marriage ceremony. I mean, what? There's just so many things she says like that. And it's just like, why? What was the point of that? I don't know. I think she just says stuff. I don't know. It's just whatever she can say for attention at the time. What's priceless to me is during that moment, look at Harry's face in the interview because he's like, what? He knows that that's not legal. It's a little bit less formal in America if you're not from here and you don't know. Like, of course, you still have to have witness and all this stuff, but you can get married in a backyard. Whereas it sounds like in the UK, that's not so much a thing. So anyway, she didn't know that. So she just says these things. Oh my God. Okay. Continuing on. Oh, the only other interesting thing that I thought was, and I'm not at all, I'm a huge fan of William. I'm not painting him in a negative light. And I don't think Bower was either, but it was interesting to find out that allegedly, according to Tom Bower, when this was breaking with Oprah and they were just saying all these awful things, sound bites were coming out. So the royal family knew that, that this was happening and this was coming. Well, Prince William apparently authorized the leaking of the Jason Knopf memorandum about Meghan's alleged bullying of her staff to the Times. I was like, ooh, you go, William. I don't fault him at all. I mean, he didn't do anything wrong, meaning he didn't make up this memorandum. This memorandum already existed. He just chose to let the Times have it. Maybe so that way there's more of a balanced reporting thing going on here, because it sure wasn't balanced with the Oprah interview, not at all. And the thing is, again, if anybody, Harry gets that. He talks about being silenced, and yet he's talking out about his family, knowing that they can't answer back. It's absolutely ridiculous. All right. Continuing on. Oh, it does say that the Buckingham Palace did not approve of William's choice to do that. But I say, you go. What else can we find out? I'd like to read that whole report, please. And thank you. All right. He goes into the reaction to the Oprah interview. And for the most part, they said that, at first people were sympathetic, and then they started to see into, wait a second, what's going on here? And then he calls it, quote, a tedious, narcissistic wallow and a one-sided PR effort. I'd say, yeah, I think a lot of people started to see it like that for sure. Again, at first, if you have done no homework and you hear that stuff, you think, oh, that's awful. But then you start to realize, wait, nothing they're saying makes any sense whatsoever. Just a reminder, because I'd forgotten this, they also promised that by their spokesman, after this Oprah interview, they said, quote, the interview would be the last word about their rift with the royal family. Now, they said this knowing that they had signed the Netflix deal and that would be happening, but they still, their words and actions never meet or match. So they said that, and then there you go. All right, let's go on to chapter 12, the me you can't see. Now, I remember hearing that and I was like, where did that come from? I thought that was a Meghanism, but no, that was the name of the Apple special that Harry had filmed with Oprah. Was Oprah in it? I didn't actually watch this one. I've read a lot about it, but I can't with Harry. But I didn't actually watch it, so I think it was produced maybe by Oprah. I don't think Oprah was in it. Maybe she was. I don't care. Anyway, this is that Apple special about mental health. Okay, I call this mental health hypocrisy. So it focuses on Harry's 2021. It was at Apple TV. Yeah, it was with Oprah. Sorry, where he positioned himself as a mental health advocate while still dragging the royal family. So this was framed as another big money-making deal in their post-Megxit media blitz. Again, he was done talking about that, except for he wasn't. I mean, they're still talking about it. All right, further hypocrisy. He preaches breaking the stigma and mental health awareness while publicly trashing his own family in ways that cause more trauma for everybody. And again, I always think about too the hypocrisy of saying things like that and online safety. Well, look at their followers. Okay, sure. Let's see here. Another discrepancy was in the series. He talks about wanting privacy and healing, but this dropped alongside the Oprah interview and before Spare. So they weaponized mental health for sympathy while invading the royal family's privacy. Okay, sure. Further hypocrisy is the slamming of the monarchy for being cold and unsupportive on mental health. But again, think about, I'm stuck on this, the timing. You know, Prince Philip was passing away and Her Majesty the late Queen was dealing, with the loss and then her own health struggles and everything. And then King Charles had buried his father, and Harry is focused on things like they didn't warmly welcome me when I went back to the funeral. It's a funeral for your grandfather. Like he's asking for, I don't know, sympathy from everybody, but can give none of his own. It's just further hypocrisy. His mental health advocacy, again, it's rules for thee, not for me. So he's advocating this, but he can't seem to have that for anybody else, any kind of sympathy. And it seems to coincide with his royal family bashing and when a paycheck is involved. So something that I learned in this chapter is, that Beyonce just texted, and I was hoping that Tom Bauer would reveal that Beyonce did not text. He did not say that. I wish he had it, because that'd be really funny if it turned out it was just Harry texting for another phone. But anyway, Beyonce just texts, remember he does that. Anyway, that was filmed the morning after the Oprah interview went public. Okay. I guess that makes sense. I don't believe she texts, though. I don't believe she texts. Anyway, playing an eternal victim is a theme of this. All right. Page 108. Let's talk about this. So Harry, in his delusions, quote, expected a genuine apology and genuine accountability from King Charles, then Prince Charles and Prince William. In Harry's terms, reconciliation was only possible if his family, quote, begged forgiveness from him and Meghan. What in the world? It's not that that's shocking information. It's just so shockingly stupid. I can't with this nonsense. Like, what are you talking about? Apology for what? Dumbass. Anyway, so like Beavis. Dumbass. All right. Oh, God. Again, Harry had no sense that Prince Charles was going through his own loss, mourning his father and stuff, but expected that they cater to him. Okay, sure. Whatever. Let's see. Oh, here you go. And then on page 111, there's a quote that says, talking about Harry, mental health became his battering ram against his family. Absolutely in agreement. I mean, we still see that. I think he uses words and phrases that are trendy and involving mental health as weaponry for sure. And just like I think they use the ist words, hoping that nobody will be able to fight against it, I think Harry does likewise with the mental health terms. That's just me. All right. Anything else? Let's see here. Oh, this was interesting. So Harry changed, again, hypocrisy, the name is Harkle. So Harry continues to change his narrative about everything, but about specifically Tom Bower, I'm on page 112, is talking about how he changed the narrative about previously he had stated that Prince William was very helpful with his mental health journey, and that when he came back from Afghanistan, he was broken and just really going through tough times. So it was Prince William that actually encouraged him to seek help and therapy. And then that's again what prompted he and William and Catherine to launch Heads Together, to take the, stigma out of therapy. Great. I think that's a great cause. Well, and then even by his own account, he said then that that's what helped him. Tom Bower used the word cured. I don't know if you can ever, I'm not here to debate that. I don't know if you can ever cure from, with mental health issues. I'm not here to discuss that. But what I am here to say is Harry, out of his own mouth, has talked about how instrumental that was to helping him. Well, when he went on Oprah, he changed the story. He conveniently left all that out, cut Prince William out of the plot, as well as Catherine. He completely left out the Heads Together campaign and changed his story and told that it was after he met Meghan. He was inspired to seek therapy. Interesting, right? Interesting change. He must have forgotten again. Just like it was, I don't know. He just, Sorry, I was just thinking like he blamed William and Catherine for that costume, but I guess that's different. But still, he's just like, he can give them no credit for good, only try to blame them for bad that he's done. It's absolutely ridiculous. And then again, Tom Bower's talking about, don't worry, Meghan contradicts herself a lot too. It's not just him. It's like, oh, we know. And then I guess she had contradicted herself on the therapy thing when, what was it? When she was having those thoughts, allegedly, she had said that the Palace HR were unwilling to help because they didn't want it to look bad for them. Okay, sure. But then again, Tom Bower asked, like the rest of us asked, well, if Meghan, as you say, helped you find therapy or get a therapist, then how come neither of you thought to call said therapist when she was going through it? They can't answer questions like that. They'll never answer questions like that because, they won't take any real questions that aren't pre-planned. In fact, that was an interesting part of the Netflix section was how secretive it all was handled. What that means is there'd be, I'm going to say if I'm understanding it correctly. Okay. So the main person behind this they kept talking about was Liz, and Liz worked it out with the two of them where even the crew was mostly kept in the dark, the crew that was working on the Netflix documentary. So she would privately, if I'm understanding correctly, allegedly, she would privately go in and talk to Harry and Meghan, feed them the question. They'd have time to discuss amongst themselves with no crew able to hear anything. And then if things were needed to be refilmed or redone or whatever, or they were contradictory, no crew was made aware. It was just between Liz and Harry and Meghan. The idea being that they did not want any of this to get out. He's kind of, again, he's not saying, but he's alluding to that. What my takeaway is that they changed their story an awful lot and they had to refilm a bunch of crap, but they didn't want the crew to be wise to it. So that way they can be like, if this is your story, why can't you remember it? Why do you have to discuss every single answer between each other? So it was a lot of it kept in secret and stuff. So I thought that was interesting to see the inner workings. It's not shocking. And I absolutely don't believe anything they say. And I believe they probably do change their story. I mean, obviously, we've seen where they change their story a lot, but I thought that was interesting detail that hadn't really been discussed previously. So it was interesting to hear. But that's going to do it for me in those 3 chapters. Now you have to let me know your thoughts on all of this. Thank you guys so much. Thank you for your kindness, your wonderfulness, your incredible compliments on this. This makes me feel so good. I'm so happy. I feel, sounds cheesy, but I don't care. I feel so connected to you guys right now. I'm enjoying this book review. I feel so good about walking through this with you all. I love your feedback. I love the kind words you're saying. I appreciate that so much. That a lot of you are saying this is some of your favorite content of mine. It's some of my favorite to do as well. I love to read. I love Tom Bauer's writing. I'm really enjoying this, and it's interesting to see the breakdown of, what we've heard out of those two for the last couple of years, but to see it laid out of, no, that's not what was happening as we suspected, this is what was happening, that kind of thing. So it's interesting for me where I obsess about psychology. This is fascinating. And I really am enjoying this book so much. We have so much more to go and I'm excited. So as I keep saying, check back lots because I'm on no posting schedule right now. I'm just reading, recording. I'm trying to do it as soon as I read it, a chapter or 2 or 3, whatever. I just get on and record because I want my thoughts to be fresh. I want you to know what I'm thinking, what's going on. I want to hear your thoughts on it, your takes. So that's why I'm doing it like this. But thank you guys so much for being here. I'll give you my overall thoughts when I finish. But as I keep saying, I'm loving this so much. I highly recommend the book. Love his writing. He's fantastic, and I'm riveted. So let me know your thoughts on all this. As always, thank you guys so much for being here. You mean the world to me. You really do. If you want to further support this show, of course, I have the merch. I just got I Give Up, and that has been wildly popular. What's funny is I thought the Flock would be my most popular, but hands down, it's been I Give Up, which I find so funny. I love that one. I think it's so fun, and I have that on stickers, shirts, mugs, everything. I have it in a variety of colors. You can customize all that stuff. So play around with it. See if there's something like. Thank you to everybody who's picked up stuff. It means the world to me. Check it out if you're interested. And I do have the Flock, and I have so much other stuff. I have Recollections May Vary, Honk Honk, Drunk Goose Club, things like that. So I have tons of stuff. Check that out. I have Everything's Fine. That's still one of my favorites. Check it out if you're interested. And that's going to do it for me. I can't wait to bring you more stuff like this. I hope you all have the best day. Take care of yourselves. I'll talk to you again soon. Bye-bye. Hi, how are you guys? Oh my gosh. I love this book. It's so good. It's so good. I really am. I'm not just I would tell you if I felt differently. Like there were parts of Cordia's where I found a little tedious and stuff. And even in Revenge, which is one of my favorite books, at the beginning, I just kind of was like, okay, let's pick up the pace a little bit. Not this one. I love this one. I really am. I'm loving it. It's so good. Really enjoying it. So it's like I can't read it fast enough. I try to get through and highlight it and make my notes. And I'm like, okay, I want to get on and record and talk to you guys. So this has been such a treat. I'm loving it. I've had many of you ask me to do the William and Catherine book. I can do that. Let me get through this and take a breather, and then we can look into that if that's something you want to do, or if there's another book. Wasn't there another Harry and Meghan book coming out? I can't remember now, but if you want to talk about it, I'll talk about it. Guys, you really mean the world to me. Thank you for everything. Thank you to everybody who stays tuned to the end. I'm so happy. I'm a happy goose, and it's because of you all. You all are wonderful. Now, if you stayed tuned to the end, I'm going to tell you a little secret. You ready? This is Cantankerous. Say hi. Hello. So he belongs to a friend of mine's child. And so as a joke, I've been moving Cantankerous around in the video. So if you go back and watch, you'll notice he's starting to move around. And so the kid's a little under the weather, so I decided to put Cantankerous attached to my chair because I thought it would make them laugh. So that's why Cantankerous is moving. Hi, Cantankerous. Hello. Anyway, he's named that because he just has a little bit of a grumpy face. See? So anyway, don't tell the others, but if you see him moving in the background, that's what that's about. It's to make a kid smile. But if you notice in my studio, I only have this much space to work with, meaning like, it's bigger than it looks, but it's just, there's only so many places I can put him. So I was trying to think of funny places. So I thought this was fun. So there you go. He looks like he's peering around and disapproving of the book. Oh, I have another funny Easter egg for you. Ready? So that WT, it's actually WT, what the actual blank wrinkles in my forehead thing that I said was something I heard. I could not stop laughing. The other thing I heard made me laugh so hard today. I wrote it down. That's why I'm looking over here. I sent it to my good friend, actually the mom of this kid. I said, it says, I want to be the reason that you look at your phone and smile and then walk into a pole. I don't know why that made me laugh so hard, because it's something I would do, but that made me laugh so hard because it's sweet and a little bit feisty. Like, I want to be the reason you look at your phone and smile and then walk into a pole. So anyway, that's going to do it for me. Let me know your silly, sassy, whatever saying like that. I want to be the reason you smile and then walk into a pole, whatever. My grandfather, who I love dearly, his favorite saying, which makes me laugh, is a friend in need is a pest. I don't know what. That just made me laugh so hard. So a friend in need is a pest. So anyway, if you have something like that you like or that makes you laugh, that's a little bit silly like that, let me know in the comments. That's going to do it for me. Thank you guys so much for being here. Oh, I got to do my shorts. Let me do that because I forgot to do that in the last one. And I got to keep up with those shorts because, good Lord, YouTube is pushing those shorts. Let's do this. All right. So if you're new here and you're like, what the heck are you doing, Jen? This just helps me. I normally go through the videos and it takes a while to find the right, I don't even want to bore you with it. You have to find the right 60 seconds where I'm not like shaking like a caffeinated goose. And I'm saying the right things and it's, all that stuff, because I might even be saying something great, but if I'm moving pictures around on the screen, shorts are filmed a different way. So it looks crazy. Anyway, so it's just all conditions have to be right to make shorts. But I found that if I just tack them on the end, it's so much easier for me because then I can just lop them off, post them, and go. So that's what I'm going to do. So, but I've had a lot of you saying you like to watch me work. Thanks. I appreciate that. It's a little weird because I feel like, oh God, don't watch. I don't know what I'm doing. Like the last one, I flubbed up a little bit. I was like, blah, 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 blah. But some of you guys said you like that. So that's cool. All right, let's do some shorts, shall we? Okay, here we go. Let's see here. This is where I and ah a lot because I have to go back through my notes and find the ones, because there's like a lot of stuff that's interesting, but there's just certain things that make sense in short form. So let me see if I can find something worth shorting. Not shorting. Let's see here. Oh, here you go. We'll do this one because I'm petty. I'm a petty goose. Isn't that right, Cantankerous? Right. Okay. Here we go. Hey guys, I am working my way through Betrayal, Tom Bauer's excellent book. I'm on chapter 10, Netflix. And did you know, according to Tom Bauer on page, 92, he says that few realized that Meghan's hairstylist and makeup artist needed over 2 hours every day before she could appear in public. Now, we're not even talking about for the Netflix show. We're just talking about going out in public over 2 hours. Can you imagine? Holy cow. What do we look like before the 2 hours? This takes 15 minutes. What are we doing for 2 hours? I don't know. All right. Follow me and find me for the whole book recap. I'm going over all of it. I'm loving this book. Thank you guys so much. Okay. 2 hours? Oh my God. Like, I know people are supposed to love getting their nails done. I hate it. And the reason I hate it is because I hate the time it takes. I just get so bored. I just want to go on and do other things with my life. So kind of the same with makeup. I do it because if I don't put it on, especially in front of camera, I look very tired. But in my real life, I don't wear that much makeup because who cares, I don't know. I just don't want to take the time to do all that. I don't know. I find it a little tedious. All right. There's that. What else? All right. Now I'm in chapter 11. Oh, here we go. Here's a good one. Ready? Okay. All right. I'm reading. What was this one about? Okay. Okay. Hey guys, it's Jen. I am covering Betrayal. I'm on chapter 11, My Truth. Ugh, My Truth. It reminds me of Amber Heard. Okay, so Tom Bower is talking about Meghan, and when she came out of that London's High Court, the privacy of it all, when she worked with Omid Scobie before, it doesn't matter. Anyway, she has a quote that I thought was so interesting from that day. And I just want you to keep it in mind as she and her husband publicly bash anybody they want and talk openly about the royal family. Her quote is, quote, "You cannot take somebody's privacy and exploit it." Again, hypocrisy, thy name is Harkle. What would you say you and Harry do on a daily basis against the royal family? Look at every interview, every, that book spare, Netflix shows, everything. That's what they do. My goodness. Anyway, follow me for breakdowns of this book. I'm enjoying it so much and I can't wait to keep going with it. Thank you. Seriously, those two are the worst. Absolute worst. It's like a psychology experiment. Oh yeah, this one's good too. Okay. Let's see. Again, chapter 11, My Truth. Hey guys, I'm continuing on with Betrayal by Tom Bower, and it's so good. I'm on chapter 11, My Truth. And do you remember with the Netflix of it all, Meghan was supposed to have, what was it, Pearl, her animated series? Okay, well, guess what? I always thought it didn't go because I think a lot of us thought it didn't go because it was just boring or not well fleshed out, whatever the reason, that it was some vague answer that Netflix gave about, it just wasn't what we're looking for, something. Well, did you know that she was sent several letters from attorneys because there is an author named Mel Elliott. Mel Elliott wrote a series of 3 best-selling books called Pearl Power with the same idea or similar idea. So much so that the attorneys wrote letters and said, this is more than a coincidence. What you doing? And those books came out between 2014 and 2016. And a reminder, it was about 2020 when Harry and Meghan started working with Netflix. So again, wholly copied ideas, Batman. That's all we see out of the both of them, but especially her. Quotes, ideas, everything. Nothing is hers. Look at the bookmarks. Nothing is hers. My goodness. Can you believe that? Can't even change the name. Pearl Power. My God. Oh, how do you think she just thinks she's the smartest in the room and won't get caught? I mean, what are you doing? I kind of wish, I guess Netflix had to look out for themselves, but I kind of wish she had gone forward with it and they'd sued the pants off of her. All right. Let's see. Okay. Is there anything else I should make a short of? Continuing on. Okay. Oh, here you go. Should I do that? Let's see. All right. I think I'm going to. Oh, here you go. I'll do this one. All right. I'm on My Truth, chapter 11. Here we go. Okay. Hey guys, I am working through Betrayal, Tom Bower's book, and it is excellent. I'm on chapter 11, My Truth. And what's interesting here is Tom Bower reminds us that after the Oprah interview, literally right after, Harry and Meghan's spokesman said, quote, that interview would be the last word about the rift with the royal family. Okay, again, we're 6 years in the future, and no, it has not been. And they said that knowing they just signed the deal with that, what was it, 6-part series with Netflix. So, and Harry was working on Spare at the time. So, again, just further proof you can never trust a word that those two say. My goodness. Thank you guys so much. Follow me for the entire book. I'm going over it and just reviewing it and loving it and going through each chapter. Okay, there's that. Let's see if there's anything from the last chapter or this third chapter here. This chapter, The Me You Can't See, is very interesting to read. It's harder to break down because it's more nuanced. Like I was trying to explain about that Liz and the way she conducted the interviews for Harry and Meghan. I really think there's a lot of interesting psychology behind that. And it was a lot to protect them from being called out on, hey, are you guys lying about everything? Because it sure seems like it, you know? So it was just interesting to read. One interesting quote is on page 110. The quote is, Harry became fixated by hatred. Meghan and the other name listed is the ghostwriter for Spare. Meghan and Moenger stroked his wrath. There you go. All right. All right. I think I'm going to leave that there. Thank you guys so much. Thanks for being here. I can't wait to bring you more of these. Take care of yourselves. I'll talk to you again soon. Bye-bye. Thank you for all the nice comments. You make every day better and brighter. Thank you. Bye.